Seems like forever between now and then. You look the same. I mean, you look different, but you haven't changed. Funny to think how the time gets away. Funny how you take me right back again. You stole me away. The first time I saw you, you did me that way. What should I say? I saw you there laughing, and I was afraid I might get in the way. I did not think I would see you again. So how have you been? Do you remember, and how's everything? Funny to think how the time gets away. Funny how you take me right back again. You stole me away. It's the first time I saw you, you did me that way. What should I say? I saw you there dancing, but I was afraid I might get in the
It's your boy Concert Viz 34 back at home.
What up? What up? It's your boy Concert Viz 34.
Yep, so your boy Concert Viz 34 coming to you here.
What up? What up? It's your boy Concert Viz 34. Aria. Okay, so this is Aria, and just tell us a little bit about yourself and about your love for the Dave Matthews Band.
I've been a fan of the band since April 28, 1998. And if you recognize the date, that's when Before These Crowded Streets was released.
Alpine is definitely a better venue than Summerfest, but we'll take it. I think I've been going to shows for about 20-something years.
I always tell people, like, compare DMB to now to when I first started. And I got started, in my opinion, I feel like I got started late. Like, I was at the very end of the band's prime. I feel like that 03 to 06 was like the end of the prime. 07, 08 was like, you know, we're at the very end. And then when Roy passed.
Dave really, this is the thing. Dave has put, Rashawn has been assigned the quarterback of this team. He is the coach, the play caller. He designs the jams. Dave just shows up and plays whatever he's going to play. Guys, we got a great show tonight. Low Country, what up? Myrtle Beach, what up? Charleston, what up? Hilton Head, down by Georgia, what up? Shout out to everyone in Columbia, South Carolina. Even the homies right at that North Carolina border in Rock Hill. What up? Don't forget to hit that like button, folks. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you're here for the first time. Hit the subscribe button and notification bell. And definitely feel free to leave a comment. Welcome, guys. This is the first show for Dave Matthews Band since the pause due to a positive test, which we believe it was Mr. Dave Matthews himself. Who else would it have been? Because everyone else who had caught it sat out and the band kept playing. What a show. What a show. And it's not in the sense of, okay, was it like, it's in the sense of all the rare, all the things that flowed into this show. All the things that flowed in. Alex says, yeah, he got up and got down with the sickness. But we're glad everyone's okay. So, I don't want to talk too much. I'm in a moment. We're going to bring on a guest here, or possibly two guests. They are currently leaving the venue right now, and I met Joe and Jen back at Mohegan Night 2 in 2021, and they were in the warehouse pit line with me. And we saw magic tricks in this pit line. We talked about DMB. We talked about life. We talked about living in New England. And I'm glad I connected with them. I'm glad that they are now part of the awesome arsenal of Dave Matthews Band friends that I have in this community. And they were in the pit for this show at the rail right next to Buddy Strong. So let's bring on Joe and Jen. How you guys doing?
What's up, Marcus? How are you?
I'm doing well. So tell us about this show.
It was a good show. I mean, I think as we've seen all year, I know it's just started, but everyone tries to predict the opener, and I think we're all getting it wrong, right? Like everything seems to be not what we expect to start out with. I mean, a Rapunzel start, Pantala Nagapampa, no one would have picked that. It was a good way to get it going. The crowd was really lively. I think everyone was nervous all week, whether or not Dave was going to be there, whether or not he was going to play. And a lot of excitement in and around Charleston the last couple of days we've been here. And it was a good night. I mean, we got a lot of good songs when you look at that set list. I mean, stuff we just 27, some good things, then a shotgun, stuff you just, I don't know. They're digging deep this year, and I love it. I really do. And, hey, I appreciate the vote of confidence. I think everyone that's listening loves what you're doing, right? You're filling a void that hasn't been there in a while, and I love your passion. You're a good guy. You know, anyone that doesn't follow you, shame on them. You're talented musically, and I look forward to every post you make. So thanks for having me.
I appreciate the kind words, and again, appreciate you coming on. And yeah, I mean, that's you hit it on the hammer on the nail. That opener and all the openers this year, it's hard to predict. You don't know what they're going to play, and also, as you said, they're digging deep into the catalog. This is the most shotguns since 2013. So this is it's definitely special.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great venue. I don't know if you've been there. I think the last time they played there was just Dave and Tim. So first time for full band, which everyone was pumped about. But it's literally a small tennis stadium and very intimate. I don't know how they packed 11,000 people in there, but there's not a bad seat in that house. I mean, better than most of the shows we see all summer because they're made for outdoor venues. This was really a small, intimate show. Great night.
Yep, and I'm going to pull up a picture of it because I have from the Fish community that I've recently become a member of. There was a lot of pictures from Fish this week in the how they love the venue, the Fish fans, how it was very intimate. And I'm gonna pull this up here. Let's see if we can get this up. But I heard great things about this venue all week between the Fish fans and then, like you said, sending the pictures to me earlier today and some other DMB fans. It's just everyone's happy about how intimate it is. And we have a picture for those of you guys who are watching this here. This is the venue. It's literally a very, very small lower level tennis seating and suites, and then it's an upper level and some bleachers and extremely small. It's the length of a tennis court. It's not even the length really. It's very, very small. How was the sound from the pit?
It was great. I mean, and Dave sounded really well tonight. I think the band was tight. When I think about the last couple of years, it seems like the intros and outros have gotten tighter, and the band sounded great tonight. I mean, good acoustics there, and I think they're locked in right now. Sounded great.
Absolutely. And one of the things that stood out to me is like you said, the outros, You and Me had a little bit it had some like extra fanfare at the end. I don't know if you caught that, but it seemed like they were it was like they were doing some extra jammy stuff on You and Me.
Yeah, I think when you think about when they play that, most people, if you look at the Couch Tour, it gets like a negative rating, and people cheered for it tonight. I think everyone was appreciative of the song, and when you're there, it's really tough when you look at the Couch Torn. People say, "Oh, that song stinks," or "That's ruined the set list." Like nothing tonight. I mean, everybody. There was nothing that wasn't nice. It was just a beautiful time, and really looking forward to tomorrow.
That's awesome. And is this your first show of the year?
It is. So we're going here 2 nights, Mansfield, Hartford, hitting SPAC, and I'm going to Fiddlers this year instead of the Gorge. I just think they've had great set lists the last couple of years, and for that reason, we're making the trek.
Yes, they have had some phenomenal sets for 2 nights. They pack in sets that you can argue go head to head with any of the 2 nights of the Gorge. So, and people are pulling me to go out there. I have a couple followers and friends that are telling from the Denver Metro that are saying, "Hey, you got to get out the Fiddlers." So, perhaps for me, that'll be a stop in a future year. So,
Well, like always, it'd be great to catch up with you. You're a great guy.
yeah, absolutely. And we had "Lying in the Hands of God" debut tonight. How
Great
did that
song.
sound?
Oh, it's beautiful. I love that outro. For me, it's always just been one of my favorites. I know not everyone loves it, but that's just to me one of the sweetest outros. That you got 41, you got Gray Street. There was a lot of good stuff in there tonight. Um, the hub app wasn't working in the stadium, so I was trying to just see like where we were and what they were playing and where we'd end up. But yeah, I mean, in retrospect, leaving, I was like, wow, it's quite a set list. They started early. There was Fear of Rain, and as Dave's luck would have it, as soon as he was done, it started to pour, just
Uh,
pour. Yeah.
so I also got some intel from the Fish fans. They said there's a 10:30 curfew. So even tomorrow, I would expect another early show, maybe a little bit later because of like you said, the rain may have been one thing. But from what I was told, Fish started really early. They actually alerted all of their fans because their fans are used to, 7, a little bit after 7 o'clock, but they actually started, I believe, around 6 something. So this
Wow.
is a venue, and I don't know how you feel about that. I love that. I went to an Avid Brothers show here, and actually at another tennis center. There's a Westfield Music Bowl here in New Haven. It's a former tennis facility that they turned into a concert venue because we don't have the WTA here in Connecticut. And the same thing, it's in a neighborhood where the sets have to end at 10:30. So we got out of the show around 10:15, 10:20, and I actually love things starting earlier. How do you feel about shows starting and ending earlier?
Listen, I'm fine with it. I mean, I think he came on about 7:33, possibly. Maybe I'm a little off, but I think that's when it was. It was pretty spot on, and they played till 10:15. Ended with
Right.
Watchtower. Always a fan favorite, and a lot of energy from the band. Um, Buddy's slowly turning into a super fan favorite. I mean, he got a lot of accolades, and people were cheering for him all night, and I think he appreciated it. I mean, they were tight tonight. They really were. I mean, I'd have to say, like, I know a lot of people look back and they say, oh, the early years were better. And, I probably really started trending hard to, 8 to 12 shows a year since like 2010. And I don't
Mhm.
think these guys have ever sounded as good as they do now. I really don't.
Interesting. Very interesting. And I've only, this is my 10th year on tour, but I gotta say, listening to they SiriusXM has done a great job of upgrading their stream for DMB. And these SiriusXM streams of taper audio this year, and as we were in the pit last year, the last 2 years, they really have, like you said, they've honed in the intros, the outros, and the overall mix. And I've developed a new love or further love for this part of the band. As you mentioned, I was a little bit down after, after Boyd left. There was no violin. I loved Buddy from the start, but it just sounded like the band, they were still trying to merge together. And I feel like late last year, Mohegan, Madison Square Garden, and now this whole 2022, they really, really sound like unlike anything you've heard from this band before, but in a good way. So I agree with you
Yeah,
there.
it's great. I think Buddy's honestly injected an energy that's been missing for a while. And to your point,
Right.
in his first year, like he didn't have a big catalog, so that probably
Yep.
hampered them somewhat. But we've heard his vocals. I mean, the guy can sing. He adds a lot in every day, and I'm a big fan of the Bayou. I love to watch him just bang out the keys, and I'd be curious just to get your take. Listening on the radio tonight, like what stuck out for you?
So for me, I just like you said, the jam, like the intros and the outros are really on point. The Stolen Away, what I loved about that Stolen Away, it did not lose its acoustic integrity. And by that I mean before you had Tim and before you had Rashawn, this band was much more of an acoustic percussive band. And I think Rashawn and Tim did a great job of still playing, but making sure that you could hear the bass line, making sure you could hear Dave, making sure that it did not turn into a rock song. And I thought it was phenomenal, a phenomenal performance of that. And then the number 20, the Lying in the Hands of God, number 27, was just a great
Yeah,
1-2 punch. And just listening to that back to back was just amazing.
yeah, it was nice. It's funny on back to the the previous song. I thought it was funny. Like you've got a lot of people in the pit that Tim picks up an axe guitar. It's coming, right? Dave picks up his little red guitar, and Stefan, who, as you pointed out in the two sets, used to have that stand-up bass.
Yeah.
He had what looked like basically a mini Taylor, and everybody was like, "What's coming?" And there were some people around me that were really locked in and knew what was going on, and I was impressed by them. And they looked at me, they're like, I don't know what's happening right now. So that was an interesting mix. We've not seen that before. I don't know. You all probably couldn't see it because it's just on the radio, but
Right.
I'm sure someone will post a video. It was a strange instrument for him to play, but like you said, it sounded highly acoustic. It was really well done.
Wow. So he had as many, I believe, I want to say he had that for Sweet as well. I think
Yeah,
he
I mean,
uses that for
but not
Sweet.
Dave's guitar for Sweet. Stefan had it. Maybe he does. I mean,
Right.
I could miss it, but we just all kind of were shrugging, like where'd that come from? But yeah, no, they were good. Dave didn't. He didn't address, the COVID thing at all. I thought he
Yeah.
might have just made a joke about being in lockdown. He had a lot of energy. Came out. I mean, he was fun. Ironically, it appears that the Dave selfies are maybe all done. He didn't do it
Hmm.
the last show, and he didn't do it again tonight.
Yeah.
So what happens. But
Wow. Yeah.
yeah, if you've been in one, like maybe count your blessings because it might be a thing of the past.
Wow. So not another one. And how did you feel? Because that was the thing. Listen, you're going to the show. I know that I'm at home, but at home I was very like I wanted to hear something like, hey, hey, it's Dave Matthews, I'm okay. Or
Yeah,
hey, or just from the band, the people who have a positive test are asymptomatic or okay. But I wasn't going. So how did you feel as you had to travel to South Carolina and there was no confirmation from the band about a show or about the status of the band members?
yeah. So interesting point, right? Because all week I thought to myself, if the band decides they want to take a full week off and get things right, I don't think anyone would have cared if they did that Monday, Tuesday. And as you pointed out, like I was in the Gorge last year, and they were pretty forthcoming about who had it and that they're
Yeah.
fine, they're okay. But we didn't hear anything about Dave. I think there was a little frustration. Maybe I'm understating it, but it would have been nice to hear he's okay. Everything's going to be fine.
Right.
There was a lot of anxiety this week. As a lot of disappointed people who flew in to Florida last week and were shocked to find out that they weren't playing. That's disappointing. And as we know, it's not something we can predict, and this pandemic's been what it's been, and the disease is real. But yeah, I think we all would have liked a little bit more just communication, but they do what they do, and I'm sure for good reason. But yeah, we were nervous. I mean, I wouldn't have come down here if we had found out that they weren't playing. Um, Look, we all spend a lot of money to travel and book hotels and take vacation time, and at the end of the day, like, if it's canceled, it's great they reschedule, but you've got to spend that money two times. So I was really relieved to know that it was a go tonight, and I was around the Charleston area the last 2 days, and there was a lot of excitement here, like more than I'm used to seeing. I think people were really happy that the tour is still going, and look, the people I always watch on the hub, I was a bland set list. It was this, it's that. I was like, look, there's going to come a day when these guys just decide it's over, and
Right.
we'll all be remiss when that happens. So you got to take what you get, and I think every night's a blessing, and every set list is good, and there's not many bands that do what they do for as long as they've done it, and I'm just happy to be a part of it. I really am.
Right. And that's a great perspective. And it's true. And I think to me, the most important thing about this year is I am someone who looks at the set list, but the sound of the band, when I get a high quality taper, tape, or if I get the Sirius XM stream, everything I've heard, whether I love it, I don't like You and Me that much, but it sounded good today. I'm not a
Yeah, it's,
huge satellite fan in this current, like I don't like it that much, but it sounded great. Do you remember?
it
Same
was,
thing. Don't
yeah, all
I'm not
good.
not a huge fan of it, but it sounded very, very tight, very, very crisp. And I that's what I want. I just want this band to be at its best. If they don't feel like they can give, if they feel like they're exhausted, if they're tired, even like you said, with if they're sick and they can't make it, that's fine.
Yeah,
But when they're able to put on a show like this, it's a wonderful thing. And I think I'll just echo what you said is I think a lot of the fan base just wanted to know Dave was okay.
yeah, for sure.
Obviously, the people in West Palm Beach were devastated, but they had a great time. I saw videos and pictures. They had a great time, but people wanted to know once that weekend wrapped up, everyone just wanted to know he was okay. Like you said, the Gorge. I remember that too. Being there, we heard right the opener when the openers came on. Dave says Carter and Dave. So this is not even before the band takes the stage. He lets us
Yeah,
know the way. But I guess we have to respect if that's how, if it's whoever it was, right? I guess they just wanted it to be private. And with this whole situation, everyone has the right to privacy. And it's just one of those things. Hey, it's over. He's good. Whoever got it is good. The band's playing. There's no concerns or hospitalizations, and that's hey, it is what it is.
yep, for sure. And again, like, back to the slow songs. Carter's getting older. They can't bang every song the way you want it to be. Like, they need to take a little bit of a breather. And I looked around tonight because I always want to see when they play a slow song, like, is it a bathroom break? And tonight, it didn't look like many people left their seats, regardless of what was being played. So, it was a good show. I mean, I think you can look at the set list again.
Right.
I'd love to get your take on just what the highlights were, what you thought maybe the lowlights were, but that was pretty solid all around.
Yeah, especially for a night one when you get shotgun, and that was another moment. I went nuts here. Whenever like when you have a night one that has this great of a set, and you get a couple rarities, and it sets the tone, and you're not gonna get, barring like a very, very one off, you're not gonna get any repeats the next night. This is a great way to set off the weekend.
For
And
sure.
then from there, it's you have a whole nother night of different songs, and a whole, the energy keeps flowing. So yeah, it's just it's amazing to see this is a night one. And I
Well,
told people too as well. I kept saying it, and I went crazy. If you look at my Instagram story, I went crazy. But I told people, wait until we get to a 2-night stand. There's a lot of fans that get DMB fatigue, and I get that, right? And I know you've been to a lot of shows. You're going to 8+ shows, but there's a lot of fans that they get the fatigue of they're going to Mexico every year. They're going to sometimes 10 to 15 shows. So when they saw Texas and they saw all the repeats, even though they love this band, they're like, "Oh no, what's going on?" When it all like there were much more songs played early on last year, but I said, "Hey, wait till we get to a 2-night stand. You're gonna have you're gonna have all these different things busted out at the first 2-night stand, and here we are." And like I think this set speaks for itself. So
What so you're a man that studies the set list. What do you see coming tomorrow? I'd be curious to get your take.
So I think the Walk Around the Moon is the obvious, like Walk Around the Moon, and the only thing I think they're gonna bring those out. We probably, you're probably gonna get a Jimmy thing. And then I think there's at least 2 to 3 tour debuts. I think he disconnected. I think we lost him, but I think we get a couple tour debuts. We could get a Stone. I don't know. I would love a Stone. Yeah, I think we lost. So I see you in the chat, Jen. I think we lost, but I know that it's probably, if you guys are driving, it's hard. But thank you guys, Joe and Jen. I know you guys both in the car. But I definitely just think you're gonna get a lot more variety, and a couple of tour debuts are gonna come out tomorrow. Let me go up to the top of the chat. So Heinz and Jen, I think someone said, let's see. Hello, Joe.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry.
Oh no, listen. We've been doing this for 2 weeks, and if you're driving or there's certain dead zones, so you're not the first person that's dropped off because of the connection. So don't worry about it.
So Walk Around the Moon. What do you think we'll get? Maybe 2-step tomorrow night.
There could be another 2-step. It'll be interesting because they played it so much. They may try to display, because a lot of times for these 2-night stands, they try to give you snapshots of the previous weeks. So you may get a 2-step, but I think you'll get something like the Stone or something like Pig that'll come out.
So Jen thought we might get the Stone tonight. She was hoping for it. Mm-hmm. That's always a good chase. I think we heard that, didn't we? In Mohegan. Can't remember.
So Mansfield lad, not Mohegan.
That was the opener in Mansfield, right?
Yeah, it's a Mansfield. And actually that video, the band has that on their website. They had that for the summer concert warm-up series. Yep. It's that Stone, and I watched it back, and it was amazing. I think one of the interesting things as well, I believe that Dave, he's a lot of the stuff, the reason he's not like Fish and like the Grateful Dead, if he's not really feeling the confidence to play a song with all his emotion, he's not going to play it. And if he has issues with the tempo, with the flow, he's not going to play it. And Shotgun, I believe Shotgun was played today because Dave had time to sit out and reflect and relax and maybe practice this while everyone was, off this week.
Yeah, it was tight. It was definitely, he did a good job. I mean, I've heard that a few times, and all my days, and I was like, wow, that was well done. Again, for some reason they just feel, I don't know if they're practicing more or they're just, it's funny. I saw a stat the other day. Coffin's about to pass Leroy for time in the band.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a crazy.
I mean, that's something when you think about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. From the 90s. Yeah. Because they're at 30 years right now, or 31 years on the road. And then so now Jeff is about to literally, now it's going to be a band where more time is with Jeff than with Leroy. Wow, that's a really interesting thing. It's something you don't think about until it like you look it up. So
Yeah.
that is crazy. But I think with Shotgun, they had it on the set list in Atlanta. And I think what happened was that two-step, I listened back to the taper audio, and the two-step, they messed it up at the beginning. They had a little bit of a hiccup at the beginning. And then the next song was supposed to be Shotgun, and they never played it. And I think that this band is especially Dave himself, it's a lot about confidence. If he's feeling good, if he has a couple of great songs in a row, or if he has a good show where he has some time to practice, if he's feeling real good, he'll take a risk with Shotgun. But a song like Shotgun can easily be aborted, or even if he's writing the set list, I personally think if he's like, ooh, I'm not feeling this in practice, ooh, I don't think I have it down packed, he kind of just will cut the song completely. But this tour, he's taking a lot of risks. He played Dreaming Tree twice, which is another hard song on guitar, with all the tempo changes and all the different nuances of that song. But he's taken a lot of chances. Carter is playing two-step, and we know that rhythm hurts him because of the way it is. It gets on his wrist. But I think that's the big thing about this year. They are taking risks 2 to 3 times a show to play something that's extremely hard to play at where they're at in their careers. So
Yeah. You know, I can be negative sometimes, and the one thing that worries me, I was like, is this it? Right? Are they going all out because this is the end? I
right.
hope not. But we've just not seen this in the previous few years, and it makes you wonder, like, are these guys just playing as hard as they can because we're close to the end here, and that would scare most of us on this podcast.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Because it would be sad. You would, we all hope to have at least another 5 to 10 years of just without a doubt touring. After 10 years from now, 2032, I would be like, well, listen, if they want to do like a smaller, like a Pearl Jam, well, not this year, this is a bad year for Pearl, but like a Pearl Jam in previous years, even though they're the same age as Dave, they only do a certain amount of shows per year. So I would, but it's such a true thing, and that's why I think, to me, I just want to soak in this year. I have 8 shows total. I want to soak in this year because, like you said, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know. They could literally cut their tour in half in a year.
Yeah.
So
I mean, look at West Palm, right? I'm
yeah,
sure it's funny. It was one that I actually earmarked, and I thought I might go, and Jen just pointed out, like, oh, we're doing a lot of travel, this and that, and we decided against it. And of course, in hindsight, I'm not happy I skipped it, but it just goes to show you, like, you can plan for whatever, and you just you don't know what tomorrow brings, right? There's no
right,
guarantees.
absolutely, and that's why we chase this band around, and that's why people say buy the tickets. Life is short. So, um, well, if you're available tomorrow, we definitely would love to have you on again.
Well,
Um,
I appreciate it, and I promise I'll be available for sure, and looking forward to tomorrow. And it was a great night, and I really appreciate you having me on. And I just say to everyone out there, like, hey, let's just be positive. And it really bothers me when I hear about the negativity about the set list and people complaining. And these guys, they try hard, they love their fans. I mean, Dave does everything he can, and it's not going to last forever. So
it's
you,
true.
you gotta you gotta enjoy it while you can. And it was a good night. I was happy to be here. Really glad I made the trip.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being on, Joe, and safe travels back to where you're headed, and hopefully you have a good show tomorrow night as well.
Cheers to everyone on the horn here. Love you
Uh,
guys.
All right. Take care.
Peace
Peace.
out. Yep. Bye-bye.
All right. So before we get to Mark just want to go over a couple of things. So Heinz and Jen said something about as long as you have seats, it doesn't matter when it starts. I disagree. I like earlier starts, especially because I'm somebody who's driving. Listen, it gets exhausting driving to different places. I like an earlier show. Plus, listen, as I'm getting older, many of you guys are older than me. I just want to go to bed. Like I want to have a great show. I would love for a show to start at 6:30. Now, the only exception is like for a Friday show, I understand if those have to start later because traffic and all that. But a Saturday show or like a holiday show, I'd rather them start at literally 6:30. I'd rather have shows have a 10:30 curfew, but the band still plays. And that's what they did. I mean, they played, the same thing. And Justin says, yeah, he drove 12 hours to Denver and they're tired before the show started. Yeah, and there's been a lot of shows. Listen, some of you guys, I know some of you guys are runners, some of you guys have families. So it could be a lot of stuff you do, even if you live like 20 minutes from the venue. If you have a full day of work, and a lot of times, listen, when we go to a lot of shows, there's certain times I can't take off the full day before a show in Mansfield. I have to take a half day because I'm taking all these other vacation times. So when I have to drive an hour and a half after working a half day, and that whole week I've been working hard, it's a lot. So long story short, I would rather them have the show end earlier. That way I can get home earlier. I saw something about openers, Heinz and Jen. Now, I think economically, it would raise the cost of the ticket price. Maybe not like drastically, but the tickets are already expensive. And the cost and the crew, like it's not for these people on the tour to have a living wage. I don't really care as much about an opener outside of the major venues. That's why I'm happy that Alpine has them. And the other thing with openers is it is extremely hard to find a really, really good opener that will take an opener's fee from a DMB, which again has tight margins. Back in the day, the economics of touring, it was easier for DMB to get the Roots on tour, to get David Gray and Humphreys McGee for the Caravan. Like it's just economically right now for people to have a living wage. A lot of the great bands are actually just touring, headlining, or they're performing with a bigger act, right? Than DMB, like a more mainstream act. DMB is a huge, like they sell a lot of tickets, but there are other acts like Coldplay, and Coldplay has a much bigger, they're selling out stadiums. So they're selling out a stadium, they can give a couple of performers opener money and really good performers money. DMB is doing amphitheaters and not selling as many tickets as Coldplay, and it's harder for them economically. Let's see what else we have in the comments. The Seek Up, I don't mind Seek Up being the way it is. At the end of the day, they're always going to have an extended jam. I would rather it be Seek Up. What I don't like is like a Spaceman 10-minute jam. That is wasting set. I would rather have a Seek Up be what it needs to be. I thought the Seek Up today was pretty good. So yeah, and I just think with any band like DMB, they're gonna have a longer. They're gonna have a 15-minute song, whether it's Jimmy Thing or Seek Up. I'll take Seek Up, right? That's just how it is. They want to have a song where they can just display this jam and build up. Let's bring on Mark, and then we'll get to some stats. And we gotta get to Big Whiskey too. But let's bring on Mark. Mark, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. Did you guys talk about the absolute monsoon after the show?
No, so walk us through that. What happened after the show?
So it rained off and on a little bit during the show, and it got a little windy and all, but literally 5 minutes after the show ended the sky opened up and just, melted us all. Like, people were taking cover everywhere outside the venue. It was crazy. So, Dave gave a speech before something to tell my baby, and he was like, "Oh, the sky is crying." And I was like, "Well, that's not good." And it started raining, and then literally, thank God they started early, because if the band had started at 8 o'clock like they have been doing, we would have had a problem, like a big problem.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, and we were able to hear that on Sirius XM. He said the sky is crying. Yeah. It opened up. Now, I don't know if you know this. I was looking up some of the Fish Twitter posts from earlier this week. There's a 10:30 curfew at this venue, regardless of weather. So, I think they're going to also start early tomorrow, maybe a little bit later, but they have to end by 10:30. Hello, Mark. We can't hear you. Here, let's reconnect them.
Yeah.
Hello,
Sorry.
Mark.
Anyway, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so did you hear a part from the Fish
Yeah.
fans? It's 10:30 curfew.
That makes sense, because it's a super, super, super high end area, like doctors. I mean, it's hard for me to describe, besides saying the joke that I give is it looks like the Truman thing is just as pristine as it goes. I totally get that.
Nice. And that's actually when I had texted you about the Goose and the Avid Brothers shows. Also a tennis stadium that they use for concerts now. It's a 10:30 curfew as well, and it's more in a neighborhood part of New Haven. So it's not in the
Right.
city center. It's not in like north or south downtown. It's literally the western residential portion of New Haven. And I like it. Do you like the early shows where they end early, start early? Or?
Yeah, because I do all this driving to shows. I will take a 6 o'clock show, no problem. I mean, the earlier the better. However, I did get very complacent with the early starts, or the start times in general, because tonight caught me completely off guard. It was getting later and later. Charlotte was, 8 o'clock, and then Tampa was like after 8 o'clock by a few minutes. And so I was like, 7:30. They won't come on at 7:30 in Charleston. I was not prepared at all for the start, and the band walked out, and I was like, wow, I'm really eating my own words here, because I wasn't, I recorded the show. I wasn't really prepared, but I got it done. But I was like, wow, 7:30 on the dot. Fantastic. I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan if they take it 30 minutes earlier.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. And there you go. Someone just said no JTR. Well,
well, it wasn't to the point where it wasn't a JTR type of moment. So like, it was not raining that bad during the show. Yeah, it did rain during the show, but it wasn't like a JTR monsoon type of situation like I've seen before at the JTR shows where I've gotten it. This was just, like a little bit inclement weather, but no JTR situation. Maybe we'll have to see what happens tomorrow. It's very interesting that the venue didn't have a roof, but that played into like the whole like vibe. And did your earlier guests talk about like the vibe and the atmosphere of the show was just really awesome?
yeah, they said they came a couple of days early. They said starting from when they arrived, talking to DMB fans, and then today they just said overall people didn't leave their seats. People were excited. They said it was a great environment.
Yeah. So here's the deal. So it's interesting the venue is 10,000, because it does not feel like 10,000. And, Daly's place is going to be half of this, which is going to blow my mind. But seriously, I was on the floor, but everything is so close together. The pit is super small. The whole venue is just so tight knit that you have people like stacked up, at a pretty sharp incline, like right next to you. And so in that arrangement, it gets super, super, super loud. Each amphitheater and arena that the band plays, you have loud crowds, but this was a very loud environment for the band. Thought it was really cool. Sometimes people will bang on seats and whatnot at the shows, but this was like an earthquake when people did it after, Gray Street and Ants. It was just overall a different type of atmosphere from the amphitheaters I've been seeing them at, and I really thought it was cool. So I hope they return, after tomorrow. I hope they return next year or so.
Yeah, and I have a picture up from the Fish Run, It's a picture of the venue. And one of the biggest things, people at the back of the venue like literally felt like they were on top of the floor.
Oh, dude, yeah. So
And
I walked all the way up to the right before the show started. This is probably why I was not ready, but I walked all the way to the top of the venue and was like, "These seats are $59 before fees. Like, you are way closer sitting right here on these sides at the top than you are in many amphitheaters paying 135 before fees."
wow, that's awesome. And it reminds me of like for college basketball, Pittsburgh has the Peterson Event Center. It has this very, very small lower set of seats, and then like there's a level on top of it. But it's like, yeah, looking at some of these pictures from the Fish fans this week, it's like, wow, this is very, very intimate. And same thing, the Fish fans were like, hey, this is like we're never gonna get this close to Fish at a summer tour. So it's
Yeah, it was
just
really good.
amazing.
Really, really cool. A lot of fish and goose shirts everywhere. Funny enough,
Oh, really?
I guess so the venue's like it touches a brewery almost across the street, and so a huge gathering before the show, which was cool. But a lot of fish people must have stayed over and didn't go to Noblesville where they're at now because that's a hall. But
Yeah.
and then Goose is blowing up, so a lot of Goose shirts. But overall, just like all the D&B shows are fun, pretty much. Like unless you get a crowd that is very small, like Brandon or something. Usually, the vibe and atmosphere is fun. This one was very uniquely fun. Just a cool venue right on the water, a venue that's very different than what they play. They don't play a lot of stadiums, so I thought it was great.
Yeah, it's very unique, and it looks like it was a great addition to the tour. And walk us through Shotgun. What was going through your mind when you hear the first notes of Shotgun?
So it was in the back of my mind all show because Tampa got Idea of You when the guitar came out, and
Yeah.
then I was feeling a Shotgun in West Palm, and so I was like, in Charleston, I was like, Shotgun's in my mind. So I watched the guitar changes all show, and ironically, at that moment, the wind had picked up a good bit, and so this is the very first show I've recorded with an umbrella on the mic stand on the floor, and just because there's no cover at all whatsoever in the venue, and I'm actually glad I did that. And so the wind picked up, and I was like fidgeting with that, and I didn't see the guitar change, but I heard, Dave always or somebody in the band will play that one note or something before the song,
Yeah.
and I instantly turned back around 180 degrees and told my friend John, I was like, oh shit, that might be Shotgun. And then I was like, oh my God, the red guitar, it's happening. And then, very glad to see it. It sounded a lot better to me than the one in Austin. You may have talked about that already. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. We heard it Sirius XM and Austin. That was just like a fan video, which I had up here. And yeah, it sounded better here on Sirius XM radio, Dave Matthews Band Channel 30. It sounded much better tonight than the recordings from Austin.
Yeah.
So
It was great. It sounded really good. I saw some posts on Ants where people don't really like that Dave yells a lot in the song. I personally think that's awesome. I
that's
love
the best. Listen,
That's
the ant,
great.
the ants. I don't know what's going, and I think people are just bored because the ants has lost a lot of membership as far as engagement. People were like complaining and nitpicking Shotgun.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm all about nitpicking songs and saying this is what I don't like. People were like, I don't know about like when in the world did even the most like music critical fans start saying, I don't know about Shotgun. I don't know. I don't like how he's saying it. Like that is wild. And it is
Yeah.
crazy to see. Like, I don't know what people are doing, what's going through their mind. They need counseling because I don't get it. I don't get what, and again, it's only like 2 or 3 people, but that's just what it is. The people who are left over in the ants form talking bad about Shotgun.
Yeah,
Bruh,
that's crazy.
this is the first time since 2013 that we have 2 shotguns, and I'll take a shotgun where he fumbles the lyrics or messes up a transition over a lot of songs.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think it's just people are finding someone's always going to find something to complain with, but a lot of the complaining this year is wild. Now, I sent you the text. I tagged you on Instagram. I talked about this is the this is the regular season. Did this feel like it was a whole new level compared to some of the other shows you went to?
Dude, Atlanta and Tampa back to back were literally like they burned them down, and they did have more energy to me than tonight. Let's see how tomorrow goes because it's the second night. The first night could just the first night on its own could be treated as like a one night stand, but we do have tomorrow with no repeats, so let's see how that goes. I did enjoy Tampa the most, then Atlanta. This was fun. I mean, I got some songs that I've been wanting to see. Like I haven't seen number 27 since 2013. I missed it last year and whatever 2018. I missed it all those years. So that was cool. Stolen Away is not played much, and just about any song that's not played a lot, with a few exceptions of songs I don't like, I will take because I like the variety in the show. So of course, you have tons of songs in this show that are played a lot. But I do, that's why we travel, right? So we do go for the shotguns and the 27s and, things like that. So let's see what happens tomorrow. As you've said a million times, we need a Stone opener. We need a Stone somehow. We need
Yes.
Bartender back. Songs like Drive In, Drive Out. Not all that'll happen in one show, but we need some heavy hitters like that are not in rotation. So maybe throughout Jacksonville and tomorrow, we can get at least a couple of those.
Yeah, I'm really hoping, and thanks so much for taping this and being able to save this here, especially this shotgun. I think people are gonna, as you upload this to the various websites, it gets transferred. A lot of people are gonna be digging this shotgun compared to the first one, and just want to thank you for all you do. Any other final thoughts here?
No. What did you think? I didn't listen earlier because the service. I've had service at every show except for
Right.
this one. But what did you think of the set list? I thought a lot of standard songs, of course.
I mean, the biggest thing to me was if the variety. We had a bunch of songs that it was only the second or third play of it.
Yeah,
If this is night one. If you're getting Shotgun and number 27 and a Lion in the Hands of God, night one in the South, this sets the tone for how great tomorrow is going to be.
yeah,
That's the thing. This is what got me pumped up for this show is that I'm seeing this set list flow down, and I'm seeing that okay, they're actually. I think the biggest thing was that they did Shotgun. I think a year or two ago from today, like 2019 or 2021, if they messed up Shotgun or if they messed up Shotgun in Austin, they would have never played it all tour. But they're very ambitious. You're seeing them do Dreaming Tree a couple of times, two step 4 times in a row, and now Shotgun has got its second play. I mean, that's what gets me excited. It's just that one or two songs, number 27 and Shotgun this show. And also the other thing was I love how Stolen Away had the acoustic percussive integrity.
yeah.
Was
Sounded
not,
great.
it was not something that really had horn on it too much or electric guitar. And I'll tell you this because I know you've been going to these Friday shows. The Sirius XM stream has been vastly upgraded sound wise. It sounds so much better live than it did in previous years.
Good.
Uh, and I think it's just a testament to the work that's being done, the feedback that Ari and the crew are listening to, because we've all told them, hey, this show sounds okay. The arena shows sound better, but these outdoor shows sound so much better in 2022 than they did in 2021 or 2019 or 18. It's just it's like day and night.
That's good. Yeah, it started really rough last year. Raleigh and West Palm, and then even Chicago. I mean, those are some brutally, I'm not going to criticize the people doing them, but I'm just saying I don't really like the mixes of those shows. But
Right.
I'm glad to hear that they're better.
Right. It was honestly the taper audio that you and the rest of the tapers were getting us. The cell phone audio, people recording on their cell phone from the pit sounded better than the Sirius XM stream in previous years.
Right.
And that was like, it's like, wait, so someone's phone, and listen, these phones are great. I mean, these are $1,000 computers right now. that you get on your smartphone. But still, the fact that Sirius XM you're paying, sometimes $9.99 more plus a month, they really listen to us and they got it done. It's much better, and it makes me happy. The biggest thing about these shows this year, if you watch my streams from last year and this year, the mix sounds great. The band sounds better and more cohesive. And Tim, like even in Stay or Leave, and even parts of 41 before they got to the Tim solo, Tim is turned down. Rashawn is still Rashawn, but he's it's better.
Yeah.
Seek Up wasn't a shouting match today. It got louder at the end of the intro, but it was not a shouting match. It built up to something. And I just love how the band sounds. I like how they're taking risks in the set list, and we're getting a lot of different things per show that the South has not gotten. So wait till we get to the Northeast. Wait till we get out to the Midwest for Dairy Creek and Alpine, and wait till we get to the Gorge. I'm just excited for what's to come. If this is what they're doing down south, only bigger things will happen in the Northeast and out in the central part of the country.
That's right. There's a lot on the table for tomorrow. We've got Dreaming Tree on the table, two-step, all sorts of stuff. So let's see how it goes.
Yep, and more space for a stone opener, a pig, a lion, our graves. That's why I like this idea of the 2-night stands, and that's why I'm going to everything I'm going to except Hartford Mansfield is a 2-night stand, and even Hartford Mansfield, there's some repeats, but they do try to give you some good stuff. So
Right.
that's what I'm doing. Like when you get to 30 shows, I'm at 33, I think, or 32. When you get that deep into the band, you really just should focus on the 2-night stands. I've said that over and over, and this is just proof that this is night 1. Night 2 is very open for a lot of special things. And thank you, Mark, for being on. We'll definitely catch up with you tomorrow as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, one last thing, and then I'll hop off. I was, you'll find this funny. I was talking to the DMB sound team on the floor during the encore break.
Mhm.
And, I've always had the question, first of all, do they like the music? Because you could just, it'd be like me and you mixing a country tour. Maybe we don't even like the music. But I asked them the question. I was like, when you guys get the set list before the show, do you get as excited as normal fans do for a song like Shotgun coming in the show, in the set list? And they were like, fuck yeah, absolutely. So it's funny that, they're on the same page as us about stuff like that.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yep. But anyway, I'll hop off, reconnect with you tomorrow, and hope you have a good rest of your night.
All right. Take care. Peace.
Yep. Bye.
All right. So that's Mark, and we thank you to Joe. Thank you to Mark for being on. I want to pull up a PowerPoint here. Going to take you guys to school. And let's see. Just look at a couple of things here. All right, here we go. DMB and Low Country. Oh, let's switch it, flip it and reverse it. So Dave Matthews Band in Low Country. That is South Carolina. So this, folks, this is the regular season. And this is only game 1 of the regular season, but this is where the tour starts. Really. Everything else before this was, listen, there's a great preseason. Heck of a preseason. The tour doesn't start till a 2-night stand. It does not start until there is a 2-night stand. There was a lot of thoughts and opinions. Everyone has a right to their own opinion, but I said, wait until we get to this 2-night stand, because this is where it's at. We'll talk about the second bullet point. Charleston gave us the variety that had not been seen in the last couple of weeks. Like, the band really woke up to having more variety. They booted up their setlist computer, and they really got a lot of different things to really come in. And we're gonna look at that in a second. Okay. And Shotgun is played for the second time for this tour. I'm excited about this. This is the difference between 2022 and the last 5 to 10 years. Dave gets discouraged, rightfully so. This stuff is hard. The stuff that Dave plays on a nightly basis is hard. And we've seen Shotgun be played in Wichita, Kansas. And then after Wichita, Kansas in 2016, it was not played after that for that tour. Like they just cut it off. It was over. But for this tour, we have a couple of Dreaming Trees, and we have a couple of Shotguns now. And this is my thing. If you are a veteran fan, if you've been to more than 10 to 15 shows, especially if you're up in the 30 range like me, go to 2-night stands. Stop trying to, if you go to a 1-night stand as a veteran and you get upset about the set, that's your fault. It's your fault. It's your fault. Okay? If you don't care about the sets and you want to go to 1-night stands, that's fine. But don't go to 1-night stands thinking you're going to get all this crazy stuff. If you go to 2-night stands, you will then see the variety that we got tonight. Let's keep it moving here. So we have a perfect game, okay? Okay, the last couple of years, Louisiana Bayou has been brutal, in my opinion.
Bruh.
Like, really, really bad. Like, I wanted to go to court and just essentially say, Your Honor, we need to ban this from the set list. We have gone 9 shows or 9 innings without Louisiana Bayou being played. The elimination of this song from the set list has created more space for a lot of different things. Songs I like, songs I'm not huge fans of, but they've improved it, and just a better overall set flow. And it really has, it just feels like a whole different set list is being booted up here because we have no Bayou. We have no Bayou. Say bye to Bayou. Oops. Let me go to, sorry, I took this off. Okay, I love this. I support No Bayou 2022. Okay, I support No Bayou 2022. You guys can do that too. No Bayou 2022. I love how this thing is being. It's not a shame. It was such a shame when it was being played too much. Now, here's the other thing that we have here. Here's the other dope thing. This is what I'm talking about. Now, listen, there's 2 arguments. If you don't like the songs that were played tonight, that's fine. But you cannot deny that there were a bunch of songs that were only played for the second time in the main set. We have Stolen Away, Do You Remember, Shotgun, Stay or Leave, Number 27, Sledgehammer, and Proudest Monkey. That's 7 songs that were only played for the second time of the tour. That's the too much, right? 2 plays per tour. Now, that is a big jump from some of the previous shows in this tour. And then we have a tour debut of Lying in the Hands of God, and we have a couple of songs that were only played for 3 times in this tour. And there's been 9 complete shows for this tour, for the summer tour. There's been 9 shows, and even